Alright folks, welcome back to the International 4. It's the SCA qualifiers here on High Ground TV. Thank you so much for joining us here on the NA Hub. We're here at the Beyond the Summit house and it's day one of these qualifiers. We've already gotten through, well, pretty much 99% of the American qualifiers. We're here with another set of qualifiers, a lot of storylines that we can jump into like there were in that American qualifying set. Once again, I'm Mott, joined by this time, Kyle Guy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Mott. First time we actually get to be together in person.
Yeah.
It's been a whole new experience since I've gotten to come to the BTS house. It's been a blast.
Yes.
It's been a lot of good fun, and I know me and you are primarily NA Dota people.
That's right.
And we were very passionate about the first set of qualifiers,
right.
and we're very eager to see how the finals will go out tomorrow. But tonight we're going to start something new, a little bit of C Dota, and I think it's going to be a good time because a lot of people believe that in this qualifier, a lot of the teams are a little more evenly matched. So we might be, seeing more evenly matched games, more exciting games. But, we're always going to be biased towards our NA Dota.
Right, absolutely. The thing is that I'm most excited for is getting a chance to see these guys, these new up-and-comers, or the big names like we have here with Scythe. These teams, obviously, they're very familiar with one another because it is such a tight-knit, small kind of group of players. They play in tournaments, and, I know you were watching the inaugural. They play in other tournaments like the Dota Talk tournaments and stuff like that. Ghost who comes up in the background for a couple weeks as well, I believe. So we're jumping into the series now, and I think this is arguably one of the bigger matchups.
Oh, yeah.
People know Scythe, obviously, XCTN. Not too much known about them, but they still have some pretty star players in terms of, obviously, I guess their roster. We are going to jump into the draft, though. We'll see how things get going and underway, and we are going to be back into the game, guys. So,
fantastic.
Excellent stuff. Already jumping in. Brewmaster and Shadow Shaman coming out right now for Scythe. Centaur and Invoker. This is a 6.80 meta for XCTN, a 6.81 meta if you consider the Brewmaster for Scythe. So
it's interesting because a lot of people were suspecting that we are going to see a lot of very intriguing and very different picks in all these kind of the games, because while something like North America, everyone's kind of generally feeling out the same meta, what's in style, what's the flavor, what's the fashion, what have you, and they're all kind of seeing the same thing. But for C Dota, it's all these different parts, a little bit here over in Malaysia, a little over here in Singapore, the Philippines. Everyone can have their own style of Dota, so we'll see something very different every time. And I can't help but, before we go too far into this draft, I feel very privileged because one of the players that I am most excited about seeing this whole thing is Miracle, of course. And without doubt, of course, XCTN have done their research and they know Naga Miracle is nothing to mess with.
Yes.
An immediate first ban. I mean, given the hero is already very, very powerful, but you can't help but feel like that's just a respect ban right off the bat.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the hero's still solid, too. You think about what happened in 6.81, and people are like, oh, it got nerfed a bit. It's a Naga Siren. You could heal with it a little bit, but I mean, it's still Miracle when we're all, when it's all said and done. This team is still very, very solid, and Scythe are one of the teams that are probably, most people consider top 2, I think, right now, in at least this region, is Scythe Gaming. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what they play with Miracle. X-Freedom's been around for a while. I know JBX is a very strong player. Hana, I believe, that name is familiar. I'm sure I'm missing it somewhere. I don't know. I've seen that name before, and I feel like it's actually just an AKA, but I actually kind of want to look that up on Wikipedia.
Well, Hanification, he's gone by a few times, but generally he does go by Hana. And even though for also some of these teams we're seeing a lot of roster changes, a lot of people moving around. I know Miracle himself has jumped from team to team to team, including being on the Powerhouse Titan squad, and now falling back and being a part of this Scythe team. But a lot of people are favoring Scythe to be the kings of this qualifier and to come out on top. But you can never. These are best of ones. Anyone can take a game.
Yeah, we've
you
seen
have
it before.
One bad draft. Next thing you know, Arrow and Scythe, they're losing and they're losing, and we have these other new up and comers. Someone like maybe XCTN who could reach into the top 4 and be a part of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not as kind of like top heavy, I think, as the American qualifiers were with like those 3 top teams that everyone talked about. I think like you talked about, any team has a chance really. Even though Scythe is still very, 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 very strong and still probably will get top 2. The rest of the teams, who knows? Like, people are like, oh, Zephyr, they're not going to have a chance. But in all reality, do we really know if Zephyr have a chance or not? Do we really know if MVP Phoenix are going to do well or not? I mean, these teams are still very solid. All of them have played together, like I said. The Korean teams, the Southeast Asian teams, everything is really just, it's pretty much wide open. And you can see that kind of with the draft. You'll see an Elder Titan, Io, 2 heroes that you don't generally see together, first and foremost, and then a Brewmaster on top of that. It's like, how are they going to lane this? How is this going to work out? But
that's the problem too, I've noticed, because if you're a fan of Dota, you can't just, as much as we both love the North American scene, you got to be able to learn and just broaden your spectrum of all Dota. And as I've been, really trying to be intense about going into all the research, a trend that seems to happen through a couple of these teams is they like to shift things around. You can never really count on a certain player to play a certain role. They can change things back and forth, and they can roll heroes in different spots that may be, out of the norm. I mean, Scythe with the first pick, Brewmaster, I would just automatically suspect that they're going to throw that in the mid lane.
Yeah,
I love Brewmaster in the mid lane.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of people pick up the Drunken Haze right off the bat, level 1, and next thing you know, if you're going against an Invoker, it's a coin flip now to try to get one of those last hits, and that's rough.
Yes. I agree, especially if you go for Quas Exhort too in the Invoker. You get that Exhort, all of a sudden you have that last hit power, you have the Forge Fields to deal with, and you can harass the Brewmaster rather easily. You don't really get up close, so you can't really Thunderclap you. The only way that you can kind of just do work is just, I guess, being in a better position, and the Invoker kind of being out of position. So we'll see how that matchup goes. And you could also do Side Lane Brewmaster, off lane kind of works, but with this lineup it probably won't be that. Even though they have a Morphling now, Execration probably can also go for a side lane Invoker. They could certainly run that, and you could do like a Centaur, Shadow Demon, Sand King, like an aggro tri-lane, and that might be difficult for Scythe because IO against an aggro tri-lane is not very strong. So for Execration, they have actually a lot of options here, a little bit more, I think, than at least Scythe does. That's my opinion anyway. So
no, I can agree with that, and I think based on their draft, especially with that Centaur Warrunner grab up, this is going to be a little more of an aggressive playstyle, and I think it's the right playstyle to go for, especially when now we're seeing the Morphling as the last grab, and without a doubt, that should be a Miracle Morphling.
Yes.
And I have personally seen a Miracle Morphling take a game, like what looked like absolute nothing. I almost want to say they were down to Megas, and he single-handedly brought the game back with just that Morphling. So, that's one of those games that can be very long, and, hopefully that's not the case, but it could be. A Morphling is one of those heroes that needs all those items to get online and to be a big powerhouse. But,
yes.
I mean, look at that. Execration with the Leshrac. Now you get that nice little sweet peanut butter and jelly combo, of course.
It's like
Shadow Demon Leshrac.
So it's now it's not even a question of like Invoker being made. Like he's got to be made. Like if you look at this like lineup, you're like, okay, Centaur off lane, and then you've got Shadow Demon, Sand King, Leshrac, which is like the most disgusting tri-lane ever. The thing is, do you go aggro with this because the Sand King, he needs that jungle to be able to get in and get some experience and get some levels and get some gold to get that Blink Dagger. Maybe they want to go for kills, and that's one way to do it. Maybe you could just do a Leshrac, Shadow Demon, like dual lane, Sand King, Centaur, like dual lane, and then have like the Sand King in the jungle a lot of the time. There's a lot of options coming out here.
This is so intriguing, Mod. That Leshrac pick is definitely just, my eyebrows are raised. We can't see it right now because who's the core? Who's the late game? Typically it's Ninja Boogie. And for right now, I know we're into a pause and we'll kind of see how things go. And I mean, there's a bit of pinging issues and it just goes without saying that in C Dota there will be pauses. We'll just have to accept that, and people watching will have to accept that. And if you want to make a drinking game out of it or what have you, then let's have at it, and let's just go ahead and have a sloppy night. But Ninja Boogie on the Leshrac. This can't be a core Leshrac. It could be.
It could be.
But Ninja Boogie's the man for this team. This is the guy to get it done. And I'm really intrigued to see how it's going to go. I would just imagine that they're going to try to bring the pain very, very quickly and just kind of take Scythe out of their element. They're hoping that they can just have a nice, smooth, and easy game plan where Miracle just slowly builds up to that true Morphling form and then just kind of takes the game. And, well, if Execration are going to be moving around the map a lot and just coming from all angles and hitting them all over the place, then, Scythe might not like that, and they might be thrown out of their element.
Yeah, I think Execration have a very, very intriguing lineup. And the way that Scythe play up against this is going to be very interesting. They're going to have to deal with, I think, a lot of pressure like you talked about. And you talk about a core Leshrac, that used to actually be kind of a thing.
Really?
I mean, mid lane Leshracs used to be kind of common.
Okay.
He had a decent amount of damage with like a Null Talisman early on. His animation is very solid. It's one of the better ones in the game for an intelligence hero for sure. And then on top of that, he used to be able to just get levels, get Edict, and go from there. That's the whole thing. They changed to Edict. He had to raise his hands. He got a cast point on his Edict, essentially, and all of a sudden it became a big issue where people weren't picking him up anymore, but he's still very solid. That one change was enough to really throw him out of the competitive scene. They've buffed him kind of significantly since that happened. I think it was like 6.7, I want to say 4 or even below that maybe potentially, or like 5 even. So it's been a while since we've seen Leshrac competitively played. He's picked every so often.
Yeah.
But for Execration now, it really comes down to how do they want to lane this. Do they want to go super aggressive? Do they want to do a 2-1-2, focus on getting experience elsewhere, make sure that you have the Invoker in that mid lane and he can start rotating or even pushing down towers with Quas Exhort. For Scythe, it's a little bit more standard. I'm sure you're looking at like a Morphling defensive tri-lane with that Rasta coming out in the IO. You have the Elder Titan off lane, and then it's the mid, I believe, what was it? God, it's now it's on the tip of my tongue here, and I can't remember what it is. It's Brewmaster.
Yeah.
God, it's like that one hero that we've seen for so long. And
yeah.
I don't know what was going on there, but guys, do remember that this is not the only game going on tonight here. There's, I think, like four games going on at the same time, obviously. There's been some issues in the other, I guess, streams. I believe there's been some power issues coming in from the admins. So, typical night here in the TI4 qualifiers. We are on day 1 of the SEA qualifiers. For some of you guys across the world, it's going to be, I guess, morning or afternoon for you. For us here, it's getting into the...
Yeah, we're going to go into the wee hours of the night.
Yes, so...
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be fun, and of course, here at High Ground, we like to keep things a little more casual. Maybe pop my collar, maybe. You know, who knows? But I can't help but feel like for Execration, this is maybe a potential game plan they've had going into a game against someone like Scythe or Arrow, some of these big top-tier teams. And maybe they want to kind of go something that's a bit out of the norm, or maybe, like you said, a bit of a throwback to kind of this Leshrac kind of get up here. And I'm really, really intrigued, and we'll see how it goes. Execration, personally, are coming off a 3-loss streak, so they haven't been so hot lately, but it is the TI qualifiers. Everyone's coming into it with a nice, clean slate, and hopefully they can get the ball rolling early.
Yeah, I mean, this would be a huge victory for Execration, no doubt. I mean, you talk about a Cinderella story right off the bat. If they get a victory up against that of Scythe, who are undoubtedly probably the top-tier team, or I guess the top talent in the SCA scene right now for the qualifiers, I don't know, alongside Titan too, they're a very solid team. So we are going to get underway right now. It is going to be game number 1. Well, it's only a best of 1 series here, so a lot of action potentially happening here. We already, for Execration, we're going to jump into their lineup. We've got Ninja Boogie, like you talked about on that Leshrac here. Uwe, or EWE, will be on the Centaur Warrunner. We'll have BG01, he'll be on the Shadow Demon. Fox is going to be on the Sand King, and Abeng will be on the Invoker to round it all out for Execration.
And starting at the top here for Scythe, we're going to have, of course, the one and only Miracle going to be playing that I would consider maybe a signature hero on the Morphling. Right next to that, we got the Brewmaster. He's going to be played by Polo-san, which I don't know if that's a proper alias or not. I believe he goes under typically another name, but, you know, as it goes on, we have X-Freedom playing the Ball Wisp, and then we got Mr. Hannah playing your Elder Titan, and finally we got Chibi playing your Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, so already it looks like you can see how the lanes are going here. Hana's actually going to be on the safe lane Elder Titan. It looks like they might even try to go for that aggro tri-lane, which I thought was going to be a little bit of a bad idea coming up for Scythe. They have, obviously, the IO, and that's very interesting. I don't know if that's the best idea coming in right now, but it really depends. I don't know. Actually, they're going to mid, actually, Miracle and Morphling, so it's actually a 2-2-1, which we don't see too often, but the Morphling does this more often than not now, and you'll have IO always dual lane mid, so the Invoker is going to be in mid as well. We have a support here in the backside, BG01 helping out in the top lane. It's going to be the Centaur solo safe. They're going to aggro dual lane down bottom, it looks like, at least for now, with the Leshrac and with the Sand King. We'll try to get into the jungle and get some levels, but standard laning, I guess you could say. I mean, at least with the Morphling and IO. So.
This is like, I mean, maybe for C-Dota, maybe I'm missing something, but Leshrac solo off lane, we were expecting also this Brew to be in the mid lane, and he's kind of doing, you know, a bit of that safe lane. For most people, they like to go in off lane Elder Titan, especially on the Radiant side, but no, he's going to go solo safe, so I don't know if they want to do a lot of audible plays here.
For the Leshrac, they do have this, like, they have this dual core roaming through. They'll probably roam more often. They'll probably try to get kills in mid lane, especially. They're making sure, at least the Shadow Demon at least made sure Abeng had an okay time here in the mid lane. He's going for Quas right now. Not sure if he's going for Quas Exort, but yeah, the Leshrac will have help. And it, like you said, it's a core Leshrac, which we don't see too often anymore. In fact, it's very, very rare. But this is one of my favorite heroes, man. Like,
I want to see it.
You hit a split earth and you're like, oh god, yes, I feel so good about myself right now. Like, it's a skill shot, and to a certain extent. So
I want to see it. I want to see some sexy Leshrac carry action here, and you know, they're going to look to try to dominate this lane as hard as possible. Don't hand anything over too easy for Elder Titan. And of course, that's going to be hard to do. Elder Titan will always find a CS with the help of that Spirit, but, you know, keep it as minimal as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, making sure you shut him down is important. But the thing is, getting kills is even better. And shutting his levels down, that's what he needs more than anything else. You could argue that a couple of good items would be nice eventually, like getting maybe a mech for himself if he wants to go that route. You can go for a pipe eventually. Just something like that. You can even go for drum at a certain point and be just fine. But shutting down his level progression is very important for an Elder Titan. Getting those levels, all of a sudden, natural order, the armor resistance coming out, and the magic resistance, working with a Morphling is huge damage. Serpent Wards as well will be nice to have all of the magic damage from Shadow Shaman, so he synergizes pretty well with this lineup. You get a nice Echo Stomp off, all of a sudden you've got a wave through just destroying everybody. So 2 minutes into the game, no kills happening, no real aggressive plays just yet, but interesting stuff.
I'm suspecting for now it might be a slow start. I would like to see maybe Execration maybe pull out a nice smoke, get a gank going potentially on the mid lane, but with a Wisp lingering around, it's going to be very, very tricky. You know, possibly they can consider getting it done, but I would suspect that it's going to be more slow paced. Maybe by the time we get more level 6s online, we'll get to see some big action, some fireworks, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think levels are really the most important thing for these teams, but rotations as well. I mean, like, Execration, they can be aggressive. They have two heroes that work very well in roaming. I mean, Burrow Strike, yes, level 1 is not very good, but like if you catch X3 out of position, which he's doing right now, like if you look at his positioning here, like they need to get a kill because they're just sitting together, roaming around. They're like trying to contest pulls and stuff, but they're not getting experience. The Shadow Demon is still level 1. The Sand King is only level 2, so they need to move and they need to get something done. Whether they need to rotate top or send one hero out of the jungle like Sand King and just farm that, or leech experience bottom and try to get a kill there. They've got to do something now because the 2-1-2 or 2-2-1 rather for Scythe coming out gives them a big experience lead at least early on.
Their time to shine for Execration could be as short as just like 20 minutes. I mean, when you're pushing it past you're only risking things a lot more.
What is he? He just casually walked, but I don't know what that was, but that was not a gank. Tornado initiation coming through. It'll hit up on Miracle, not doing that much damage. He's just like, okay. I don't know what that was, but that was not a gank if I've ever seen one. So.
I mean, I feel like they're feeling pretty pressured, like they know they want to get something done very, very quickly. Ooh, they're making a jump in here, and Miracle kind of flexing his pecs on this Morphling, just kind of taking it to the Invoker, feeling pretty confident, but it looks like they might turn this into a bit of an audible. No, Sand King just kind of fooling around here, now looking instead to see if the rune will be top. That's not going to be the case. It was actually already grabbed up, but you know, they're kind of just wandering around a bit. Now he looks like he might eventually commit up here to the top line and maybe add a little bit of aid here for the Centaur.
Yeah, I mean, like, Centaur is doing okay, though. I mean, he's got like 14 last hits, so if anything, he's just kind of leeching experience from the Centaur, which is fine, though, because he needs experience himself. He, like, needs level 3 so he can level 3 Sandstorm. He can start stacking these camps. He can start doing damage there and getting up towards that Blink Dagger, which he really needs. I mean, at this point, it's not going to be like a 9-minute one. It'll be like 10, it'll be later than 10 minutes, I think, like 12 minutes or even 13, 14, depending on how the laning phase goes. Yep. So, also interesting to note, Leshrac went for 1-1-3 build, which he only put 1 point in the Split Earth. The damage is pretty good, and it scales pretty well. The radius is bigger. Edict is really nice for pushing down towers. They don't really have that much of a pushing lineup without.
I really like that Lightning Storm, though.
Yeah, it's a good ability. It's a good ability.
Buff. If people don't really know what the recent buff is, because we obviously haven't watched a whole lot of Leshrac, it now adds a nice little bit of a slow. And you know, I don't personally play the hero too much, but I would love to see how he can make great use of that and maybe get a couple of pickoffs. But for now, man, he's CS King right next to Miracle.
Yeah, and Miracle, speaking of which, in the mid lane, he took a bit of damage here. He's at 15 strength, so he's kind of squishy. 600 health right now, and X Freedom is actually pretty close. Waveform for Miracle to get some right click and last hits there and at least force them under the tower. Abeng's not doing too poor, 16 last hits, but because he's not Quas Exhort, I mean, he has to rely on a Null Talisman, and he doesn't have Phase Boots yet, but he probably will go for them. Quaswex is nice, but it's really just teamfight oriented. There's not going to be any pushing power except for Leshrac's Edict right now. They might not be able to take down towers because of Primal Split, because of waveform, because of wave clearing. Disruption down bottom. Ninja Boogie looking for the Split Earth. He's going to find it. Hana getting caught out. Now the Lightning Storm nuke coming through. He's getting low. Wow. Is this first blood? Absolutely. BG01 getting it done there. Ninja Boogie will have to back off, but he's got a salve, and he's feeling pretty comfortable about himself after that kill.
Yeah, really nice. He was almost pinned in because of those illusions, and that's that combo we've been talking about, and I love to see it come back into the limelight as they get it done in the bottom lane, taking out the Elder Titan, and now heavy pressure. This tower's going down right now. Ninja Boogie on the Leshrac, man, adding a lot of pressure to this bottom lane, making things very difficult for the Elder Titan. And now they're going to go, actually mid lane as well, though, Mod. They're making it go on the Miracle. Tornado throws him up in the air. He does get the desperate waveform and will step out.
Yeah, while that was happening, also action all over the map. Top lane, there was already a death coming out. That was a solo kill for the Centaur on that squishy ass. Oh, Rasa, that poor guy. That you're not going to do any chance this game, my friend. You are getting caught out of position. You're dead. So
it didn't take level 6. I mean, I guess it's nice. Execration were able to try to get something going for themselves. Miracle now very low on life in the mid lane. Can't quite commit too much to getting extra harassment in CS without, you know, feeling a little overcautious here. And meanwhile, Io, he hands his bottle off. I would suspect, yep, it's getting sent right back to the base. When that comes back, he can share that with the Morphling and just kind of keep him in the lane. A very, very nice babysitter to have.
Yeah, the good thing also, Polosan, even though he lost his friend, his teammate in that top lane, that Rasta, he picks up a 7-minute Blink Dagger. Actually, he sold it. He had one, then he sold it. So I don't know what he's going to be doing with that. Maybe he'll wait until it's on the courier. He could go to the side shop even. I think that's what he's waiting for. But he's got to be careful. Uwe could try to go for a kill here and make sure that timing goes a bit awry. But there's the Hex coming up. Uwe taking damage. The Shackles long range. The right click easily done for Scythe. Now he can get to that side chop with no problem whatsoever. But it looks like mid lane Gank's going to go through BG01 on the backside. Now they're going to go for Miracle. Disruption. Is there Burrow Strike? It's on cooldown. No mana for it either. Miracle. He's going to strength more. The waveform gets the kill. He turns it around. Obbling getting dove here a bit, but now looking for Burrow. He's got it there. Do they have the damage? I don't think so, Fox. What are you doing, man? That's a Morphling. He's just going to strength morph. You're giving a double kill up to Miracle. A triple kill. Come on, guys.
That's probably the worst thing you can ask for Execration right now. Miracle is the man in the mid lane, especially with that Wisp. It's not going to be any easy task to try to take him down, and now you're handing over the man we have been idolizing. 3 kills now, 3-0 for Miracle. Happy to take the long trot, what would look like back to the base, but he's actually going to opt forward for now, but this is really bad.
Stampede, they're looking for X Freedom. They miss out the Split Earth, but guess what? That long-range Lightning Storm, boom. The God of Thunder, well, he's Leshrac in this game, man. Zeus ain't here, but he doesn't need to be.
I've been hearing a lot about Ninja Boogie, and I've been, pretty impressed so far with his Leshrac play, and, let's see if he can keep it going. They took out the tier 1 in the bottom lane, maybe now looking to add pressure on the mid. They pull out the Edict here, and look at that tower begin to melt. Now the creeps are coming in, and will help disperse it a bit, but for now, they're just going to add a little bit of damage.
This guy has got gigantic balls.
Oh my god, look at that, 1 life.
He's got some serious balls.
He's got a ball next to him.
Yeah, he does. That's true. He
That's
does
a pretty big ball right there.
Yeah, that is quite.
He might need to go to the doctor to get his big ball checked out.
He really should. That's not natural. So Miracle continuing to see us right now. Overcharge coming through. I think they were ready to they were willing to defend that. They actually smoked up with Chibi X. They were like, okay, there's a push coming in. They have a Leshrac here. Like, let's not give away a free tower. And they're all grouping up as well. Scythe, they want to fight. Blink Dagger, Clap, Primal Split Initiation. They're going to try to put some pressure on this tier 1 tower of their own. And the thing that Execration are doing well is they're at least trying to go for towers, but guess what? Look at the pushing power. The Tornado EMP is going to fly, and Miracle will get hit up by that, so he's out of mana and he's out of health. So, yes, you can morph strength if you're in a bad situation, but now he can't really do that because he's got no mana, so he'll have to be very, very careful. The rest of the squad, they'll take the tier 1 tower down. Cold Snap up from Abang. Nice deny. That was a beauty coming out from Abang. Well played, but still they will lose that tier 1 tower mid.
Very convenient timing right there with the Cold Snap to kind of prevent him from getting the extra last hit in to go for the tower and allows him to get the deny. So very nice move right there for Execration, but they do have to forfeit over the tier 1 tower. But the nice thing for them is all the meanwhile up here at the top lane, that Centaur's been farming it up and he's getting very, very close to that Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's not going to have it nearly as quickly as, of course, the Brewmaster did, but the Brewmaster hasn't really used it yet. I would have expected to see them. They did smoke up, they did look for a gank, but everyone was backing off from Execration. They might have seen the Blink Dagger, and they were like, listen, we don't want to deal with that right now. For Centaur Warrunner, it's going to be kind of the same thing. And we talk about it so often. When you get that Blink Dagger, do something with it. Actually, be a part of a fight, go for a kill, because you're going to catch your opponents off, with surprise. Of course, ganking is I think, one of the most integral ingredients to Dota, so why not use that surprise to your advantage?
Now, mid lane, they're looking to make the push because this will definitely be the Blink Dagger for Centaur if they can get it. With the help of the Edict, they will get it very quickly, and there it goes. But they make a jump in from Panda, but the help of the ult will get them to run back. And now they're having commitment issues. He actually lingers around long enough to get the stun. I hope he doesn't regret this now, but ooh, he is making the run for it right now. Ninja Boogie, be careful, relocate to come, but he doesn't bring anyone with him. And it looks like he might be able to get away, but now they're thinking about making a turn, going right back for the ball. There's a Burrow Strike. Oh, Portal of the Wisp might be caught out here. There's the stun, but they hex up the Centaur. Centaur now shackled up. Oh no, he had his Blink Dagger. Did he buy out? Did he buy out? He did not buy out. Blink Dagger is not going to be available now. They get the 1 kill. They take down Ninja Boogie. Oh, that's 3 now all day. Scythe very conveniently happy to get a couple of kills after losing the mid lane tower and now also getting the top tier 1 tower. Unbelievable string of events right now for Scythe.
It's almost like Execration don't know what they're fighting into right now. It seems like they're just on a different page that, Scythe are. Scythe are just like, listen, we have Miracle. Morphling actually can pump out a lot of damage, and oh, by the way, he's got Morph, so if you try to kill him and he's got mana, you're not going to do it. So if you're focusing him, you're just going to get him a triple kill. Or if you're trying to focus down a Brewmaster and he's going to clap you every single time, or like an Astral Spirit from Elder Titan because he's got freaking Natural Order, which is so strong. It's like, what are you fighting into exactly? You have this squishy composition. You had a Blink Dagger coming out for Execration. They got caught out of position. It's still not there yet. It's going to be there with this last hit. He should have bought it out, like you talked about, during the fight. He did not. So it's going to be a minute later. So now they're down. I think it's 7-3 the score. the gold graph is 1,000, but it almost feels like Execration, like they're hanging out for dear life. Like 1,000 doesn't seem to be an accurate representation of what's going on in the game.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, the more they're making it go actually near the mid lane. There goes a bit of disruption. Plus,
it's just an illusion.
Yeah, but it's all for nothing. I get it was late to the party, so I didn't see it was only an illusion. But hey, successful illusion is able to successfully bait out a couple of spells, so very nice for them. But I can't help but feel like in that previous fight in the mid lane, had they just got the tower and got the hell out, things could have gone a lot better. But even with that moment where Ninja Boogie was kind of lingering around, like, hey, maybe I'll just throw out a little stun. That's unnecessary. Just leave. The objective was done. Just get out. But, you know, they wanted to linger around a bit, and they ended up paying for it. For now, though, they got to get something going in their favor. They pull out the smoke, and it looks like they will make a rotation up to the top lane because there's still one more Tier 1 tower to go for.
I think the thing for Execration is, why is Fox not farming up his Blink Dagger? He has Sandstorm at level 2. He could stack up some cans, and he would have had it by now had he decided to not fight and smoke with his team. Like, I feel like that's a high-value item right now coming out. Whereas, Scythe, I mean, like, they're going to carry in the late game, but, like, a Blink Dagger is going to be huge for you to teamfight, especially when you're trying to 5-man down a lane. Now, they're going to get pushed back. Blink in, there's going to be the clap. Now, the ultimate, the primal split, the rock getting thrown, long range. It's going to hit. Ninja Boogie in trouble. The spirits, the big stomp coming in, but nice. The cyclone coming in, big burrow strike. 2 men taking a lot of damage. Only 1 down, 3 down now for Execration. BG01 getting shackled up. It's going to be a full team wipe coming out. Execration, what are you doing? Scythe, you're looking beautiful.
A lot of uncertainty. I'm feeling like coming out from Execration. It's a real shame. I'm loving the lineup they're working with. It's very spicy, if you will, but Scythe, they are a very meticulous team, and they know when the right time to commit on a fight, the right time to pull out, and the right time to just really take advantage of a very, very good opportunity. And I feel like the same thing is just not there for Execration, and we're kind of seeing why Scythe is considered probably one of the best teams to come out on top of this qualifier.
I feel like the team fight for Execration just is there. They had a couple of glimpses of hope in that fight. I feel like the Burrow Strike, the Night Stomp, but they were all so low from fighting in the Natural Order, all of that stuff that came out from Scythe. It just seemed like Execration just don't know really what they're doing. Abeng is just like, he's not providing a lot. He's just throwing down Tornado and EMP, which obviously, I mean, that's really all you have at this point, but maybe you'd be more suited as a Quasic Zord Invoker. The Leshrac has got a Soul Booster, and Ninja Boogie, he is that superstar, but he's like one of the only people that I feel like is really accomplishing a lot in this game.
When he's involved in these pushes, he's there to definitely get the tower down quickly. And without a doubt, he's getting that done, but for everyone else, it's just not enough there yet. And we're getting to that point where when you don't have the damage to work with, it's just going to show in these team fights. I can't help but feel like it's looking very grim very quickly right now for Execration. Miracle just cleaning house in his own jungle, finding all sorts of farm. Already got that Lincoln's. He got it in very, very good time. He even has a haste in his bottle ready to go. It's going to be very rough right here. And hopefully, Execration can kind of shake it off and just try to get something going for themselves, or maybe find a good opportunity to get a quick pick off and maybe another tower.
Yeah. I mean, I still want that Blink Dagger, man, and he's finally going for it now. Thank you, Fox, but like, it might be like a couple minutes too late.
This should have been like 5 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
When you're having like that point when he was trying to make a cut across the mid lane and maybe wanted to kind of consider venturing top, he should have just considered just going right to the jungle, stack up maybe a couple of neutrals and just sandstorm away, get that Blink Dagger, because that initiation is very, very crucial.
Yeah,
now he's the epicenter. It just would be so nice to have that combo, but for now, it's just not available just yet. He will have it here. Only 100 gold. Oh, Mud Golems, you son of a bitch. He has to run right back now. God damn it. Now he has to go find...
goofy-looking mothers.
He's like, I gotta find the gold elsewhere and just kind of wait. Oh, Mud Golems again!
Like, look at these things, man. We talk about it every time. These things look...
Why don't you love me?
The dumbest thing I've seen. Relocating to the top lane right now. Ninja Boogie getting caught out. Split Earth. It will catch the tail of X Freedom. But guess what? Miracle doesn't give a damn about that. He's gonna take the EMP to the face. He'll tank it up. But that relocate is still going for X Freedom. So they're gonna tether him up, bring him back home from wherever he was, or down to that bottom lane rather. And this is so nice to see. Like, you talk so often about heroes that work well with an eye. You talk about an Ursa. You talk about perhaps like even a Sven or a Tiny. I feel like Morphling is just as good, and we've seen him almost as often. So he certainly works well. And on top of that, Miracle had like a 14-minute Lincoln Sphere too, man. It's like
I mean, that triple kill in the mid lane probably definitely helped that a lot.
Yeah.
I got to give quick props, obviously, to Freedom on this Wisp, man. He's been doing a fantastic job babysitting and just being right by Miracle's side. As you can see, he's making it go in the mid lane with him, making it go on Centaur, but it's not going to be enough. He has to pull out the ultimate just to get away. And now with some rotations to come, but the Lincoln Sphere obviously will prevent the Burrow Strike, and Miracle, of course, will pull out the eject button and get away.
Like they forced like 3 TPs. Guess what? That leaves your top tier 2 tower open.
There it goes.
Like, you now have like they played.
Yeah, you didn't even need to use the wards.
Yeah. The thing is also I think they wanted to play 5-man Dota for Execration. They realized that Io got level 6. He had that relocate online. I understand that, but at the same time, if you're not safe in your own jungle, how can you ever get that play integrity? He finally got it now. They're going to go for the Tornado EMP. Miracle getting caught out. Linked Sphere. You got to break that, guys. You got to Cold Snap. It looks like they did. Earth Splitter coming out. Wow. Look at those freaking... My goodness. Look at the damage. Thunderclap coming out. The rocks going. Ninja Boogie getting shackled up. The right-click double edge. But Uwe, what are you doing, man? Why are you getting caught out here? Shout out to Spitwad. Uwe getting caught out. Right-click down. Oh, man. 3 dead. Now a 4th about to go here, potentially. Abeng. Oh, my lord. You've got to, I think... You got to quit at this point, man. You got to just say, listen, that's it. I mean...
We try to be as unbiased as possible in these games and give everyone a fair shot, but this is not the game they wanted, and this has got to be it. They're already looking to break the base, and I know I'd led into this draft saying for a lot of these C teams we could see a lot of even matchups, but man, there's a reason why everyone considers Scythe so good.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have anything going for them. I'd say maybe if they had a carrier or something they could rely on, but they have a Leshrac and they have an Invoker who's not really farmed. It's like, at some point you have to think, okay, they're considering at least GG in here. They're going to lose a tier 3 tower. I understand it's the TI4 qualifiers, but you got to at some point shake it off and say, listen, let's try to go again here.
Yeah.
They can maybe sneak a Roche. They can maybe try to go for a smoke gank. They can maybe try to do something, but the last time they smoke ganked, it did not work out. They're trying to get this Morphling down. That's not the right target. This Brewmaster is not the right target. I was probably not even the right target either. There's too many slippery heroes here for Scythe, and it's just kind of like, well, I mean, there's like Blink Dagger now for this roster. There's an Active Scepter for a Brewmaster. Great. All of these items are starting to come in for Scythe here.
I mean, look at this roster's net worth. It's above the Invoker, the Centaur. It's above the majority of the team with the exception of Ninja Boogie. It's clear cut right there. I mean, Scythe are just a powerhouse right now. You can't stop them. They're getting everything they want, and I feel like whenever they want to just kind of mosey on into that Roche, they can get a free Aegis as well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe get one more pick-off. The thing is, they have the tier 2 tower bottom and mid. If they can somehow defend those and get a fight, like, we haven't seen also Epicenter used once. Not once have we seen an Epicenter. This guy has he's had level 6 for like at least 5 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less, but Blink Epi, really nice combo. Burrow Strike's level 4, so the damage is there. Linked Sphere obviously is kind of annoying to deal with. Brewmaster ult with the magic community. It's going to be tough to fight into, but it's doable. I mean, like, I don't know if you fight at the tier 2 tower. You might just let these go and say, listen, we'll try our best at the high ground, but what are you going to wait for? Like, what are you trying to get online before that happens? You might as well just fight at a tower and get something going now, which they will. They'll TP in, they'll throw a sentry down, the IO Replicate, or Illusion rather, is going to be in there, but Polison, he throws up the Thunderclap, Stampede going as well. Stomp, it's going to come in on the backside now. Miracle getting caught out. He will use that waveform. Big Earth Splitter onto 3. The Ether Shock, the right click, Abon getting caught out with the Cyclone. They'll blow up that Leshrac. Fox, he used the Epicenter, didn't do anything. It looked like he might have gotten the kill on the roster, but that might have been it. BG01 getting rocked up and adaptive just right to the face. That water rising from the ground and just destroying his face. So they're going to take 3. They'll take a tier, well, actually 4, and they will call GG. And I mean, that is the right play. I mean, like, what are you going to do, man?
And unfortunately, they exit out right there, and poor Sand King, he was on the sidelines. He was waiting for the right opportunity to make a jump in with the Epi, but Brew was right there, shut down his blink. He Epi'd to no one, tried to waddle in there, and just got ripped apart. And we had to wait a bit to get this game going, Mont, but bam, just like that, Scythe, 20 minutes, done.
It's like that's like any game, I feel like, for these SEA qualifiers. Like, that can happen, but it also could be the complete opposite. We don't know, really. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that could happen here. So.
I mean, take this with a grain of salt, of course, and I know, like, Gods have felt this way as well, is that for the top, it's Scythe and Arrow, a lot of people feel, and then everyone else. But for everyone else, they're pretty equal as far as skill. If you want to compare it to something like the North American scene, everyone else is probably equally as skilled as maybe a team like SNA.
Yeah.
So it could be relatively good, but you could see, if Execration is supposed to be on the level of SNA, then Scythe, man,
they're a level above. Yeah,
I mean, we were kind of expecting that on paper. I mean, if anyone was a betting man, you probably would put your rares on Scythe. Yes. I really like the draft that Execration brought out. You know, they had a game plan to try to end it quickly, maybe get a few pickoffs early, get the tower down right away, and prevent Miracle from getting any sort of farm on the morph. But we saw it go south way too quick.
It just wasn't their game, and I think the draft kind of compounded that factor. Just kind of like, I love the idea of a core Leshrac, don't get me wrong, I'll be the first person to say, listen, let's do core Leshrac, that sounds fun, I love that hero, but like, they just didn't get the farm they needed. The rotations from that bottom lane from the supports were not good. They weren't there. The Invoker barely got anything against a dual lane with, of course, Miracle and X Freedom. The top lane got absolutely Well, actually, they did get a solo kill. The Centaur got a solo kill on Chibi X, but that's about it for them. That's all they got, really, that was actually okay in the laning phase. Fox didn't farm that Blink Dagger up, and it just compounded from there. So that is going to be it for our first game of the night here, and probably, I think, the fastest game for the TI4 qualifiers for at least the SCEA region, and maybe even for the entire thing. So,
but we have a lot more games to come.
We do. In fact, we have one more game coming up here between, I guess, for us casting it. You've got a lot of action here tonight for yourself, with, of course, Greg joining you.
Well, I have to make up for the due to like travel problems and coming in a little bit late. So I'm not surprised they kind of threw me right into it. I'm going to be knocking out a lot of casts tonight, but I'm excited, man. If you love Dota, it doesn't matter.
You're right. It doesn't matter. We could say like, oh, we got to stay up all night or anything like that, but
work is hard.
I'd be lying to you if I didn't love every single game that we were doing, and it's just great. So speaking of Dota, and speaking of SEA Dota specifically, we have Arrow versus this team, Execration, coming up in just a couple of minutes from now. Or that should start at about 22:20. So actually, let's see, we're at 10 o'clock right now. I think we still have like an hour, maybe?
I mean, that was pretty quick. I mean, I believe they give each game about an hour and 20-minute window.
Well, the thing is, we were supposed to start at 9 o'clock, right? So, actually, it's like 20 minutes from now. It's not even an hour. It's 20 minutes from now. So, we'll be back into our next game in just a bit, guys. Make sure, first of all, you go ahead and follow us. Of course, he's Kalagai. You can follow him at Kalagai. Right there, you can see it in the nameplate. Of course, I'm Mott. You can follow me at MottDota2.
Yep.
Go ahead and follow this channel, twitch.tv/highgroundtv, twitter.com/highgroundtv, of course, and check out the other broadcasts going on, beyondthesummit.tv. We'll redirect to that team page, which is twitch.tv/team/TI4NA. That's going to be all of us here at the house doing these casts, and of course, we've got a lot more action for you guys to come. So stick around. We'll be back in just a little while, guys.